morning, delivery fam, and welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with UDM on the Life of a Gig Worker podcast. Today, we'll be talking about Merchant Unplugged DoorDash, and I got my sister from another mister. Hey, Josh, don't even do it. I see your eyes already, bro. Don't even do it. What's up, Kim? Let's just move the conversation along before we give him a chance. What's up, Kim?
How are you guys?
I'm pretty good.
Oh, that's good. That was one heck of an introduction, but thank you for having me.
So Josh is not going to say hi at all?
I was going to say hi, but it usually rolls into other things. So I was just being quiet over here.
Well, I'm waiting on you to say hi, Josh.
Oh, what's up?
This dude is something else. So anyway, look, we've seen a lot happen with DoorDash over the last few years. And just for the audience, Kim, how long have you been a Dasher?
Since 2018. So what's the math on that?
Okay. All right. Approximately how many miles have you driven?
I couldn't even tell you. I can tell you I have over 13,000 deliveries, so that I can tell you.
I'm still struggling trying to get to 4,000. How many you got, Josh?
On DoorDash?
Yeah.
Probably like 2,000-3,000.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. So we've seen a lot happen with DoorDash over the last few years, right? And they've made a whole lot of changes to their platform. We've seen them expand rapidly. They've gone public, and now what's the price of their shares, stock prices? You know, Josh?
No.
I guess you're gonna look it up really quick. But yeah, we've seen so much change with DoorDash, including taking. Oh, just by that response, I got to hear that first. Go.
It's $108. That's more than I thought.
$108 per share?
Per share.
I'm like, does that sound right? Doesn't sound right.
That some seems off, right? But it is DoorDash. It is DoorDash. So the point is, a lot has happened with DoorDash, positives and negatives, and a lot of things have happened in the news. This podcast, we're not only going to focus on just the negatives, but just anything that may be trending or anything that happened on DoorDash, because a lot of people that tune into this podcast, or even some people outside of the gig economy, let's just say regular customers, they don't even know half this crap is going on, Kim. Some of them don't even know somebody died yesterday or last week, or they don't know nothing at all. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this segment a news segment for people just so this video could get pushed. And it's not just going to be about DoorDash, but this one. I have a specific article here that I'm going to read where a restaurant unplugged DoorDash.
I hate when they do that.
You ready? All right, here we go. This Seattle restaurant has dropped DoorDash and hired its own delivery driver. Baka Bok unplugged the app to provide better customer service, its owner says. Better customer service. Let's go through this. 4 months, restaurants and customers have been complaining about high fees instituted in Seattle by food delivery apps like DoorDash and Grubhub after a city council ordinance raised driver pay. There's now an intense debate among politicians, business owners, and workers about whether the law should be repealed or tweaked in order to bring those fees down. But one Seattle mini chain no longer has to worry about it. Baka Bok, right? A fried chicken restaurant with 4 locations has pulled itself off of the DoorDash platform and will now be doing all of its deliveries in-house after hiring its own delivery drivers. There's something to be said for the old pizza delivery model, owner Brian O'Connor says, where the delivery person is an employee of the restaurant. Pretty much the old model that existed before third-party delivery apps came on the scene a couple decades ago. I know that using our own employees and our own drivers, the food is going to get there with a little bit more care and attention than from someone that doesn't work with us. The change is a pretty monumental one for Baka Bak, a takeout and delivery only operation that previously used DoorDash as its delivery partner and relied on third-party apps for 65% of its business. It hired a dozen delivery drivers. A dozen? Damn. Okay, well, it hired a dozen delivery drivers, established delivery Radi. What is that? You know what that is, Josh?
It sounds like it's a like an integration.
Okay. Delivery
Radi.
Oh,
Radius.
Oh, radii.
Yeah.
Like radii?
I think all of us wrong.
No, I think Josh is right. It's radii. So like how far
Multiple
it's willing to deliver.
radiuses because they have multiple locations.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all right and I'm wrong. Whatever. Radii for its locations and now relies exclusively on its website and phone lines to take orders. I just have about 5 more screenshots here. Among other things, this switch is a tidy solution to a problem a lot of Seattle restaurants are facing. In January, when the Seattle City Council ordinance called Pay Up came into effect, it raised the minimum wage for delivery app drivers. In response, both DoorDash and Grubhub tacked on a $5 fee for all orders. This caused order volume to plummet at many restaurants, including Baka Bak. The new fees were a factor in Baka Bak's decision to hire its own delivery team, says O'Connor. But more important, O'Connor says, was increasing the control Baka Bak has over the customer experience. If a guest has a complaint under the third-party delivery app system, he says they'll complain to the app, and it'll take a long time for them to get their money back. And they can't get another driver out to them to drop something off. Under this new system, though, if there's a mistake and we forget something in a bag, we can fix it by sending another driver and making our guests happy. Baka Bak customers are now charged a flat $7.49 delivery fee, a much more transparent process than going through a third-party app and being hit with multiple fees. It's also now cheaper, says O'Connor. Our food is very good. I'm very, very proud of what we serve, but it's only so good to a certain amount of money. He says, if app fees increase the cost of what would normally be a $25 order to $45, customers are going to be justifiably frustrated. Will this be the start of a trend of restaurants and customers ditching the apps? O'Connor says that he hasn't heard from any other restaurants who are interested in following the Baka Bak model. But Tony Delivers, a service founded by Tony Yes. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but I hope I didn't butcher it. Anyway, has been making deliveries in select downtown neighborhoods for $5 and is hoping to expand. At least some entrepreneurs in the Seattle area are interested in ways to deliver food without relying on the large apps. And I think the very last one here says, leaving DoorDash means that Baka Bak can no longer use the app to attract new customers through searches or in-app advertising. That sort of marketing, O'Connor says, is extremely helpful, but comes as an expense, and that's a cost to the guests and also to the restaurant. So far, the experiment at Baka Bak is going well, at least according to one metric, O'Connor says. We're getting a lot more comments and compliments on our delivery. Y'all think somebody else gonna follow suit? Another restaurant, another merchant?
Go ahead.
Come on, Josh. Let the guest go first.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's okay, Josh. You go. I'll sit back and listen.
I just have one question. What stops DoorDash from reverting back to their old ways and just making the Dasher use a red card? It's not like he's gonna stop DoorDash. They're just gonna send the dashers in with a red card. It's gonna be the same thing. Am I right, bro?
That is the truth. I was kind of thinking that, but I was like, I didn't think of it fully. But go ahead.
But I mean, yeah, you're controlling your deliveries, but there's nothing that stops a customer from coming in with their own card, or in this case, the red card.
What's your thoughts, Kim?
Well, I think Seattle in itself is a hot mess, and this just kind of adds to everybody's frustration. I kind of see it from his perspective because merchants got raised fees just as much as the customer did in Seattle. So I think they have to outweigh their cost and how much it's gonna, 12 drivers, that's a lot of cost coming from a restaurant. So they have to be a really popular restaurant in order to pull something like that off. If they can do it, more power to them if it avoids them getting fees, but are they still going to be getting the same publicity they would get on the DoorDash platform?
But at the same time, though, they have to include marketing, and marketing ain't cheap.
No, it's not.
And that's an additional cost. I understand that they feel like, hey, you know what? I think this right now is just a relief. Like, thank you. Get it off my shoulders. You know that moment when you just wake up in the morning, then that first stretch, like, oh my gosh, it's the best stretch ever. I think that's what's going on. And then, well, Josh is too young to probably understand this, but when we get to a certain age, our bodies start hurting us. You know what I mean? So I feel like this right now is the initial stretch that Baka Baka is feeling, where they, until their legs start hurting, until their back start hurting, their stiffness still, they still feel it. Having 12 delivery drivers is tough.
Till some jackass walking in with a red card.
And a red card, exactly. What's your 2 cents, Kim?
I agree. Nothing to say that if it doesn't work, they can't get back on the DoorDash platform, right? I would assume. So if you stop DoorDash for a couple months, you kind of see how things go. If you're making a profit and it's good for you as a company, stick with what you're doing. But if it's not, I'm pretty sure DoorDash would be like, sure, come on. But instead of now taking 20%, we're going to take 30%.
Well, 20%. I thought most restaurants that I hear, DoorDash taking 30.
I was making it up. Okay, so now 40%.
Okay, all right. So, do you feel? Because I'm getting the vibes where O'Connor, the owner, is like almost like, hey, I'm gonna unplug DoorDash. Who's with me? Crickets. You know what I mean? It's like he would think more restaurants would follow suit, but ain't nobody else doing it but him. So like, what are y'all thoughts on that? As far as like, just him just trying to get something started to, go ahead.
I think it's a great idea, but it's kind of like back in the day when shit would get busy in these restaurants. I witnessed it 2 or 3 times where shit gets busy inside the restaurant and they go and they unplug the tablet. And I shit you not, they would unplug the tablet and then we would come in and there's still orders coming in. And they're like, but we unplugged it. You do realize that's just a charger, bro.
Yeah.
Like, tablet's still on. Mm-hmm. You're still accepting orders. So this is that exact phase. Like, he's unplugged the tablet. There's still going to be orders that are coming through DoorDash. There's still going to be orders that are coming through Grubhub and all of that. He just feels like on top of the world right now. He's made his little difference. He got his little 5 minutes of whatever news station coverage that is.
But at the same time, though, check this out, Kim. All right, let me go back to this part of the video. Of the screenshot. I can't get my words right. Look at where it says, if app fees, this is the second paragraph at the bottom, the last sentence. If app fees increase the cost of what would normally be a $25 order to $45, that is an additional $20. how much are people paying for some DoorDash from Baka Bak in Seattle?
And it's not just baka bak. It is actually.
Why she said it like that?
I don't know. It's funny. But it's Seattle in itself. Like and I forget, somebody I know who lives in Seattle just did an experiment when Seattle did its changeover to the driver's pay. What used to be like $25 ended up being like $50 between the delivery fees and the tip and, city fees. I feel there was like so many different fees. I think it's more of a Seattle thing and what's going on with Seattle than it is a restaurant thing. I think I don't know whether smaller mom and pop restaurants can do this. I think they rely a lot on DoorDash bringing in revenue, and I don't know whether they would have big enough revenue without DoorDash in order to get the money that they need. I think it could be a bigger chain issue more than a small mom and pop issue.
Here's something I want everybody that's watching or listening to this to consider. They now have 12 delivery drivers. I don't know how many orders they got going in and out of that restaurant on a daily basis, but 12 delivery drivers for 7 days of a week. You know what I mean? That is a lot. Pizza Hut. I mean, Josh, when you did Domino's, how many drivers did y'all have like to rotate for the week?
And this was the busiest Disney store too. We would have roughly between 6 and 7 on staff at any given time, and that was during peak times. Any other time it'd be between 3 and 4.
So 12 drivers doesn't mean that every driver is working every day, but 7 days a week. That's about nine drivers, or they were like 6 drivers in rotation for the entire week?
Yeah, so probably rolling them in part-time to get rid of those benefits and stuff like that. So 12 does make sense. They're probably doing like super part-time, like flexible shifts and stuff like that so that they don't have to pay for benefits.
Okay, yeah, that probably could be, but still. Whew.
That's one heck of a payroll.
Right, Kim?
All them checks you got to cut at the end of the week.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, is there enough work going in and out of that restaurant? And let me take that word "work" back, because some illegal people might be taking that as wrong. If there's enough orders going in and out of that restaurant, where 12 delivery drivers can feel like, man, this is a good part-time job, right? Then maybe they got something. And that's not even including marketing costs when marketing hits, right? Whenever they got to put that budget to the side for marketing. But at the same time, 12 delivery drivers for one restaurant that just lost all of their DoorDash customers if they are considering not the non-red card situations, right? Because the red card situations, we know that DoorDash will probably pay people like an extra $2 or extra $1 for some pictures of a menu, right? Mm-hmm. Or something, just to go back to their old habits, right? We know that part of DoorDash. So like you said, Josh, them sending somebody in with these red cards to place orders like their regular customers, they will just revert back to that. But at the same time, will the restaurant refuse to service those customers?
They could, but I mean, it's as easy as putting a debranded skin on your card so that they don't know what it is. I mean, I used to do that because we used to get refused all the time. I put like a little piece of vinyl over it so they never knew what delivery service I was with. I just looked like some rich guy.
Has DoorDash done that in a while, though? Like, I can't tell you the last time I went besides a grocery store to use my red card.
I haven't experienced it in a while. The most is... I was
going to say, do they even do that anymore?
I mean, in this case, they might. I think that's what Josh is saying.
If they're pulling enough revenue and orders to constitute 12 delivery drivers, I think they just might, because that's a lot of fees and stuff that DoorDash is losing. So they might just, put it as a red card store.
I see it. I mean, but what about the audience? How do you feel about this? Do you feel like DoorDash is just going to revert back to the red card, like Josh said? Do you feel like DoorDash is probably just going to be like, man, bump baka baka, right? Or whatever, right? Well, we getting money everywhere else. Our share cost of our shares is $108. We ain't hurting us, right? We don't know what it is going to be. We don't know what it's going to be, but let us know in the comment section down below. What's your thoughts on this? So any last words, Kim, as we wrap up here?
No, best of luck to this company if they can pull it off. I mean, now they're pocketing 30% more that they weren't previously if it works out for them. So, hey, more power to you. Good luck.
Yeah. And what about you, Josh?
I think BakaBak just wants, to reduce the amount of fees that their customers are getting. They kind of want a little bit of chicken with their fees. But at the end of the day, if it works for him, I salute him. But I just don't, as broody as these apps are, I just don't think he's going to be able to stop the powerhouse. If they want the business, they're going to get the business.
So in this case, would you think, the last question to both of you, do you think it would be a better option for him to work with DoorDash or just completely unplug and not allow any red card or any suspicious customers coming in to place an order?
Good question. I don't really know that answer. I mean, I feel like a lot of these apps have monopolized the restaurant game, and I don't know whether a lot of these restaurants would see the gain without them. But if they can and they're successful at it, then they might actually get more merchants on board if they can actually prove their numbers, right? So it's all about dollars and cents. If they can prove that this is working for them and they're actually pocketing X amount of dollars opposed to DoorDash, then, I think they would have some valid points to get more merchants on board.
And you, Josh?
I think that they should definitely try to work with some of the platforms. I wouldn't say necessarily DoorDash, but I know some of the platforms do allow you to utilize your own delivery drivers while utilizing their platform as a SaaS agreement. And I think that they should try to work with some of those platforms and, keep their drivers busy so that there's no downtime, because, time to lean is time to clean, and no driver's going to want to clean. They'd rather drive.
Yeah. And I agree with both of you. To some extent, I'm kind of like on the fence. Right. But even with DoorDash being a platform that is the largest food delivery platform right now that a lot of Dashers are signed up for and making these deliveries, I believe in this day and age, with the technology that is being used to get these orders in and out for convenience sake, I feel the restaurant should, and don't chew me out in the comment section on this, but I feel like the restaurant should at least work with the platform, because they do offer an option to use your in-house drivers but still receive those customers that they would charge you a fee to get those orders done. And that's pretty much it, y'all. So let me know how you feel in the comments. Let us know how you feel in the comments, and we will see you in the next episode. Come on, Kim. Come on, Kim.
Deuces.
World's quietest deuces ever.
Perfect. And I'm leaving it there. Have a good one, y'all. Oh, yeah. What time it is, defense?